Hello darlings, it's another week. A lot has been going on this week and I'm going to fill you in whilst we have our coffee. Now, the last time I was telling you I've got an appointment with my pace to see if I've really got ADHD. Now, this is what happened. I set 6 alarms for that appointment on Tuesday. 6 alarms. I was so paranoid that I was going to miss it. I had 6 alarms. And even then, I kept a countdown timer on my watch. I turned up. I was 10 minutes early. I clicked on the link. I'm sitting there waiting in the room. And then the psychiatrist turned up. And he didn't look at me. He had quite large glasses on, and I could see he was just reading what I put in my form. There was a lot of quiet spaces. He was just reading. The appointment lasted for 45 minutes, during which he raised his eyebrow when I told him that I'd been married 4 times. Isn't that a judgment? He spent a lot of time just reading, and I could see he was reading it because it was reflecting in his glasses. Would I have gone for a psychiatrist confirming that I had ADHD if I wasn't going to be medicated? In truth, I don't think I would. If I hadn't wanted to talk about it and not be criticised for not having really had a diagnosis, then I wouldn't have bothered. But I did want to have a diagnosis so that I could talk about it with some sense of authority about what I'm doing to put into action all my coping mechanisms, because I don't want to be medicated. The medications that they use can affect restless leg syndrome, and I wouldn't want that back for all the tea in China. Plus, I think being hyperactive is actually a superpower, and I wouldn't want that to be medicated out for me. I would love to be a bit more focused, but if that is at the cost of having restless leg syndrome back again, no, I don't want it. I think for those of you that do feel that you've got ADHD, go on to ChatGPT or even go on Google AI and look at all the symptoms that you might have, including overeating, as was in my case, binge eating. And if you tick practically all of them, then you've got it. It's a bit like, is it brown? Is it about 8 feet tall? And does it live in the woods and growl? Yes, it's a bear. It's a bear. You've got ADHD. If you've got all the symptoms, then you've got ADHD. I did tell him during this appointment, when he was raising his eyebrow, I did say that I'd had a very poor relationship with food at one point in my life. I won't say the word because, I'll get a strike or something on YouTube. But you know what I mean. He said, was it diagnosed by a psychiatrist? And I thought, actually, no, it wasn't. But I was tiny. I was so skinny. And yet I saw myself as a fat person. My periods had stopped because that's what happens when you become thin, undernourished. I had a very fine downy hair all over me. I must have been looking like I was turning into a chipmunk. So, I would say, don't bother getting a diagnosis if you don't want to go on the medication. Unless you've got a YouTube channel and you want to talk about it. And then I think having a proper diagnosis by a psychiatrist, it's worth it, I think, to have some certificate or something like that. He said, yes, you do have ADHD. You've got 7 out of 9 for attention deficit and 8 out of 9 for the hyperactivity thing. And I did actually tell him, well, I think that is my superpower. I wouldn't want that medicated away from me, frankly. So I'm not going to go on to medication. And also, I'm on so much medication didn't think it would be right for me. He was telling me it can raise your blood pressure. Well, I'm on 2 types of blood pressure medication already, so I don't need something like that. Today I met my girlfriends, 2 of them that I've been friends with since I was a teenager. I met them at a garden centre and we had coffee, we had breakfast, and guess what we talked about? No, I will give you 3 guesses what we talked about. No, go on, I bet you know what we talked about. Yes, you're right. We talked about our health. What is it? When old women get together, we talk about replacement hips, we talk about replacement knees. I don't have replacement knees yet. We talk about how stiff we are, how much arthritis we've got in our bodies, where we've got aches and pains, where we haven't. Then we start talking about our husbands. And we were like that for 2.5 hours. And 2 cups of coffee and a breakfast. You know, is it always like that? I can't even remember what I used to talk about when I would go out with my girlfriends before I was old. But now, it's all about our health, right from the get-go. We start off and we just keep on going. Isn't that terrible? When did we become so boring? That's the other thing. Right, you know, after my darling boy saying, "Oh, is that why you've been putting on weight just lately?" Cheek. Well, I have been on a very strict regime. I haven't eaten any flapjacks, so that's good. I put them all in the freezer. And no, I haven't defrosted any of them. I have been doing a 16-hour fast. I tell you, the last 2 hours of that, I am ready to eat because I've been up since 3. I'm still getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I know, it seems odd, doesn't it? I couldn't have imagined myself being somebody who gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But when I get up at 3, I do that Japanese workout with the 2 ladies. It really does make me smile. It gets my endorphins going, and then I do another one of their videos, and then I do maybe another one of their videos. I've been doing shoulder exercises, shoulder strengthening and shoulder stretching, and oh my goodness, I never realized how painful these little muscles here can be, and they make you hunch over, and we need to pull our shoulders back to keep ourselves upright. And I did find at one point I was sort of leaning forward like a real old person. Then I followed that with my hours rowing. Yes, I do that, an hour. And I think, or I listen to my book and I think, by that time, it was 5:30 by the time I faffed around downstairs, done my exercises and so on. And I had done 6,000 steps on the bouncer. So I challenge you, if you want to start feeling really good from minimal effort, I recommend you going to that website and doing exercises that are good enough for an 83-year-old to do, sitting down. I suspect you don't have to sit down when you're as young as us, but even somebody sitting down can benefit from them, and it will get your endorphins going. And guess what? Benefits ADHD. Endorphins. So it's a win-win. Anyway, darlings, it was lovely catching up with you. I hope you're well. And if you have been, thanks for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.